So I came to realize a few things. Excuse me. With the help of therapy, therapists, spirituality, great friends, great people. Let me say that. Great people that grieving does not have an expiration date. I have battled in the beginning so much with myself because I had opposing thoughts to the death of this man. And some of the opposing thoughts that infiltrated my mind was the way that he did me. I shouldn't grieve for as long as I am. And mind you, his death was in late April. We are now in September, so it still hasn't been that long at all. But I had been putting pressure on myself to get past it, to push past it, because of how he had broke my heart and the way that he did it. But again, I am learning that grief doesn't have a date. Grief is very similar to the healing journey in the sense that it is going to be as long as it has to be. You can't put a clock on it because it's a part of the process. I've also learned that I still love him. I probably always will. And I'm not sure about that part. But in his death, as I'm pushing myself to not grieve over him anymore, I was also trying to not love him because of the breakup. He was not healthy for me towards the end. Being in love with someone like that was totally unhealthy for me, and I just didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to love him anymore, right? And these experiences that I've been having, these people that I've been talking to and with, help me to understand that when it's all said and done, right? When it's all said and done, as long as I didn't stay in an unhealthy relationship, and or as long as I didn't continuously justify his negative behavior towards me and trying to put a spin on it as if it was love, at least I wasn't trying to fool myself. I got out of the scenario when the opportunity presented itself. It presented itself when he decided to leave me. And when he did, that time for me was enough and I stayed out. He and his life, I want to say, I don't really know much about it because we haven't spoke in forever. But with the bits and pieces of information that I gathered that he was okay and then hit some type of down spiral for whatever reason. And it's unfortunate, but even with all of that into consideration, it's like I spent so many years loving him, right? That I cannot expect myself to unlove him in the span of a year or two or even three or however long we had broken up. I can't expect myself to just unlove him because I had spent so many years loving him. And that even if I still did love him, even now, we weren't together for a little while because of the breakup. And he's back to the essence of energy and not in a physical body. So for me to still love him isn't even a form of toxicity. It is okay because I love what I knew. I loved who he was to me when everything was beautiful, no matter our struggles as a couple, good and bad times. What we had built was phenomenal, and it is perfectly okay for me to still love him until I don't. That I don't have to, and I'm not gonna, beat myself up continuously because of how he treated me towards the end. I'm not gonna do it to myself because I am extending compassion and love and nurturing and patience to myself in order to maneuver through some healing, get to another level of healing. I am not going to nitpick certain things out and beat myself up about it, about not doing it a certain way or not doing it at all. Ways I should be behaving, the way I should feel. Excuse me. Trying to force myself to feel a particular way based off of his actions towards the end. Because the way I should feel is not a reality for me. And I don't want to fucking fool myself into something that's not fucking real. I know in some scenarios it's true. You got to fake it till you make it, right? But I just don't feel like this is one of those scenarios. And understanding that it's okay to love him in spite of his flaws, in spite of him. Because you know what? A lot of us are okay with loving somebody that is toxic and treat us fucked up and they're still alive. You'll make excuses for them then. I didn't make excuses for him then. Once my eyes got open to what was really going on and I became acceptive of what was going on, I was able to really free myself from that situation. And now that I am here, it is okay to still love him and miss him. And sometimes I have to forgive him more than once. For some things, I don't forgive him at all. And it's all okay. It's okay for me to proceed as long as I'm doing it in a healthy manner. I'm not causing harm to anyone, not to myself. And I am recognizing more and more each day of being accepting of everything that transpired between us and in our life. And because I now accept it, or because I can forgive some things and some things I don't forgive, it doesn't mean that I hate them. It's just a reality for me, and it's okay. It's okay to be that real. You do not have to forgive every fucking body or everything that someone had done to you. You do not fucking have to. You don't fucking have to, because I understand forgiveness is for you, it's not for them, right? But I just think that society, in and of itself, along with religion, have pushed this fucking agenda on us to say that, forgiveness is so fucking freeing, right? And I think in a quest for us to become better people overall, and learn and grow from our experiences, we take some of that to heart and we implement it against sometime our will, or sometime against our divine emotion. The reality of life, right? At least for me, the reality of life is that it is just some shit that's unforgivable. And it's okay. You do not have to forgive everyone all the fucking time. You do not have to forgive every fucking thing that someone has done to you. And it doesn't even fucking mean that you don't, because you're not forgiving them, that is going to live forever in your head, or they're going to live forever in your head. Not the way my fucking conscience is set up. My conscience is set up in a way where I don't forgive them. I make my peace with what happened, and understanding and accepting what happened is different than forgiving. It means you accepted the situation or the circumstance at the time, that you made the best decision possible that you felt at the time in order to maneuver around or get through the situation. It doesn't mean you have to forgive the person for the initial act that caused you to feel the way that you was feeling. And that is why I'm saying that there's certain things that he did that I don't forgive, and it's okay. I don't have to. I don't fucking have to. What I did do in accepting the circumstances at the time, and even now, accept that that happened to me. I don't like that it happened to me, but it happened, and I accept that now because I cannot change it. I can't do anything about it. But I forgive myself for allowing shit to slide. I forgive myself for being so in love with someone else that I would not show up for myself. I would neglect my intuitive notions. I would neglect my feelings and make myself smaller in order for the outcome to be accommodative to me still, and even that person. Like, I'm not going to beef, I'm not going to war, I'm not going to do all of these things, because in the end, if it's going to make you feel a way, like I forgive myself for choosing over myself. You know what I'm saying? So, and sometimes I just don't forgive. And not forgiving, it doesn't live in my head. I accept it because that's just what it is. And I move forward. I don't think about it anymore. I don't think about it anymore. And the thing too, the flip side to forgiveness is, if you truly, right, like, forgive someone, right? Because if you're saying, or if you go by the societal and religious standings that says that you have to forgive, right? So when you decide in your mind and you take the necessary steps to forgive, does that mean that you forget? You know? I think that everybody has to just find their way on their own to get to where they need to be, in a place in their life where they're their own safe space, their own sense of peace, happiness, joy. And I don't think that everything is for everyone, right? So there are things that I do forgive him for. There's things that I don't. I'm okay with that. I'm moving forward in the process of my life. Some days is better than others. I understand that his faults with them, without them, that I was in love. I'm not in love as much as I was to that degree anymore, but I still do love him. And I hope that he has found some sense of peace and freedom in his afterlife. I hope that if he chooses to reincarnate, that he does better for himself. Even though that's up to him and his God. But yeah, that's where I am with that. And I am proud of myself for getting to this space, because to me it's still kind of soon. Still soon. May, June, July. Yeah, it's been 4 months going on 5 since his passing, and it's still soon to me to be concluding this, but I have nonetheless. And it's okay. It's okay. And that, I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. This blue hair tie my head is to help tie my sides down. My sides is shaved, but I do have some in this ponytail that has hair, and I want my hair to lay flat. And I just wanted this to be a disclaimer, because it does not represent that I am any part of any gang, because it doesn't. But I think in the healing process, whichever way that we're going, we just got to do what's best for us at that time, and that can get us through the next phase. And because you're not going step by step, a way that people or any practice tell you that you should go, doesn't mean that you're failing at healing. You have to go at your own pace. You have to be innovative in the ways that is going to best serve you. Because in healing, you are becoming a version of yourself that you haven't never been before, right? And you have to allow yourself grace and understanding, and be okay with not just the decision that you're making for your new self, about your new self, but be okay with the evolution of things. And the evolution of things does not necessarily mean that the way things have always been done are going to continue to be done that way. Change is inevitable, no matter what it is that forces the change or implements the change. Nevertheless, change is inevitable, and it is okay to not fall under the status quo of normalcy when stepping into this version of yourself. Okay? I want you to have a great, super, duper, duper great day. Great week, great weekend, and a whole dope ass year. Thank you for listening.